month's action thus far has felt like a 100-meter sprint, as fast as it can go with the finish line in sight. The month, unfortunately, is not an all-out sprint, and eventually the action has to slow. After the amazing 5-buck day on November 9th, things come to a screeching halt in the Whitetail Woods. November 11th, Veterans Day, a day we take very seriously as we honor those who have served and are now serving, finds multiple team members in the field. Mike Reed spends the day in the urban zone trying to fill his buck tag. His action is consistent, but all of the bucks are too young. Owen Reigler sits in the same redneck blind where he encountered the buck he calls Digits, and then tagged a true giant a year ago to the day. Deer are everywhere, but Digits fails to make the curtain call. Finally, I am also putting in my time on the edge of the cornfield where I believe I will finally get a chance to see the Big 8. I also experienced solid movement, but without any mature buck sightings. The mature bucks are noticeably absent now, a sure sign we're approaching the rut's lull that falls every year in mid-November. This is when the highest number of does are in estrus, and the oldest bucks are holed up with them. All we can do now is be on stand and hope to catch a buck between does, or get lucky and have a hot doe come within bow range. That is the way things play out the next day, ending Jared Mills' hunt for the big deer.
Alright, it's a frigid, cold morning here in Iowa, November 12th, temps in the negative numbers. Unfortunately, I had too much work to do to get out in the woods today. But while in my office working, I got the text from my buddy that he shot the big deer that we were both hunting. And of course, it's bittersweet news. You put a lot of time and energy into hunting a specific deer. You want that story to end the way you envision it. But if I'm being honest, this is the second best ending to the story that I could ask for. My buddy's put in a ton of time and effort into it, just as much time as I have, and he deserves this one. He's hunted the right way. And the cool part is we've shared trail cam pictures and information about sightings throughout this whole journey. And I'm proud of how it's all transpired. I've been in the industry for a while, and I've seen where big deer have ruined friendships and relationships, and that simply was not the case for this deer. And I'm happy to see how that all transpired. And there's no doubt he put in the effort necessary to kill this deer, and he deserves it.
Right.
Congrats, dude. What do you think?
It's nuts. Only deer I saw this morning.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had no hopes for this morning. I was actually sitting there thinking, I'm like, I want to get down.
Man, he's awesome. That mass is incredible. Well deserved, man. You put in the time. For sure. A lot of driving back and forth. So cool. He's a heck of a deer. Nice work, man.
Thanks.
All right, that's it. What a deer. Just the mass is probably the most impressive thing on that buck. But it was a fun journey. I'm happy for my buddy. It was a very challenging hunt for that buck. Just mostly due to the property we were hunting him on. The style of hunting we had to resort to with obviously ground hunting tiny little trees. I learned a lot chasing this deer, and especially running cameras as hard as I did. I ran the cutting link system, not having to pressure the farm unnecessarily, being able to check cameras remotely. That made a big difference. So we got so many cool pictures that we'll show, and my buddy got some cool trail cam videos. Just overall cool journey, and now it's over. And like I said, I'm excited to refocus and kind of get re-energized chasing some different bucks I think we have a better chance at.
The next morning I find myself deep in the timber on a ridge, again targeting the bladed 10. This morning we're hunting that ridge. I think we were in here on the 4th or 5th of November. And we had an action-packed hunt that morning. We're falling into that lull now. So many does are in estrus that the mature bucks just aren't moving at all. They hole up with the doe. They might stay with her for a day or two, breed her a few times, and then they go look for another one. And unless they look for that other one during the day, there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to see that deer. And eventually they snap out of it though. And that's what we're waiting for, of course, is the back end of that, when most of the does are bred. Again, this morning is one of our better spots. This is an area where we do think that bladed 10 is living. We've had trail camera pictures of that deer in this area, not recently because I haven't had the cameras here, but going back to late October, this was part of his primary range. That's a deer we'd like to see. As cold as it is, there's no reason why they wouldn't move. The only reason that we won't have action is because we don't have a hot doe anywhere nearby. So hopefully we will. Jason, this guy just got ran out.
It's a smaller 10, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there's some sort. 10. He's just not real big. No, he's at least 3. I experienced good action, but no mature bucks. 100 miles to the northeast, Josh Sparks is also out, hunting the public land spot he accesses by boat.
It's 10:30 here, and Max and I are gonna go ahead and get down. I just gotta think, like I said when I opened this hunt, we're really hoping that we're either catching a hot doe coming through here, or we're catching a buck that just got off a doe, which is obviously pretty, it's gonna take a lot of luck. We'll see how it plays out this evening. We just gotta go take care of this stuff and be right back in the stand. It's so funny to me, every time I wrap up a hunt, all of a sudden I feel like I'm back in the game. He's a shooter, right? Yeah, I'll kill him. Yeah. I'll kill him. He needs to come on. Are you on him? Good. Yeah, I'll kill him. I'm killing him. Try it. No. He's gonna be at like 30. Well, that right there is bow hunting and filming at its finest. I mean, I'm talking 30 seconds after we finished that interview, we're wrapping stuff up, and it just did it perfect. I mean, it's like She ran right into us, and she was at 20 yards. And then Max got the camera on, and the buck was just down here probably at 40, 45. And all he had to do was bump his doe up here. But she was just sitting there, and he was back there. And then Max said to me that our battery had 2 minutes left. And so when we were switching batteries, I think she heard that. And that's just a product of really bad timing. But that's just what I was talking about. If you get a doe to come in, it's gonna take a lot of luck, and we had her right there. I think if that doe would have went through, he would have came in for a 20-yard shot. But it is what it is. These deer are definitely still out on their feet. It just mattered being in the right place at the right time. That was cool. I just really hope that wasn't our golden opportunity. But we're gonna go take care of those phone calls, get batteries charged up. We'll be right back in here.
The big deer in Josh's hunt illustrate the keys to success at this time. Either you need a hot doe under your stand, or you've got to catch the buck in between does. Both will take a lot of luck. This afternoon we decided to go back to that same small corn plot where we're hoping that that big 8-pointer will come out. This is a deer, once again, that we filmed back during the summer. He's a big beautiful 8-pointer. We haven't seen him. We've gotten trail cam pictures of him a few times in October. We haven't seen him or gotten any trail cam pictures of him in November. But this is where he was living, you know, back last time we knew. If there's any hope of seeing him, this is probably our best bet. And the corn is starting to get picked over pretty good, so we don't have a lot of options of waiting on this spot. If we're gonna hunt it, we need to hunt it pretty quick before they clean it out. So that's what we're gonna do, grab the stuff and jump into the redneck blind, and hopefully that 8-pointer comes out tonight. While I sit in the redneck blind waiting on the big 8, well, any deer for that matter, 65 miles to the southwest, Owen Reigler is on his way to his own redneck blind, again targeting the buck he calls Picket Fence.
There he is.
Serious?
There he is right there. Don't move.
Didn't like that, did he? Joe says he's still shaking. Looked pretty good in person there. We gotta do our interview backwards this time. We saw the deer first, and now we do our interview. So we just got in here. We're actually doing something crazy. We're hunting this on the wrong wind, and we're just gonna leave the windows up because they're combining corn off here to the west, and we're hoping that would work in our favor toward the evening. You know, they'd move everything up here if they get combined in that hillside you can see over there, and we're hoping they'd work back this way and we're hoping one of them would be Picket Fence. That's who we're hunting tonight. But Joe spotted him moving right there, and there was nothing I could do. I mean, he was gonna pass out at range for sure, so it was like, man, we got him here, we gotta try something. I tried snort wheezing at him when he was just in the corn there, thinking that was the best opportunity where he couldn't see anywhere. And then he got into the path, and I tried again. And he heard it that time, but, you know, I don't know if he pinpointed it came right from the blind or what, but he didn't like it, whatever. Felt like I had to try something. What do you do, you know? But who knows? He could get on a doe and get running around and maybe end up back here yet tonight. Well, I don't like our chances, but you never know. We'll sit in here just the same. This is my last evening to hunt for I don't know how long, so hopefully we'll have a good sit. He's got a pretty good limp to him. See where his shoulder looks all dark there in one spot. The brows on him. Three pack.
As Owen enjoys the action, team member Bobby Haley is heading to one of his best food plots.
It is November 13th, and Heath and I are headed in over here by the creek on the edge of some cover. Hopefully catch some of these bucks cruising through there. A lot of them are locked down now, so we're going to finish getting ready here and then we're going to head on in. Meh. Good shot. Smoked him. Down. He's down, baby. We heard him crash right down in here, so he didn't go 60 yards. Heath and I got it done tonight.
Say that wasp put a heck of a hole in him.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, I know him. All right, well, it's November 13th and we got the job done. We've been hunting hard in the past month and it's just been tough. I done a rattling sequence and he came in within what 15 minutes of that, and boy, he was on a mission. Oh, finally, November 13th, job's done.
Man, he's awesome. That mass is incredible.
Just mattered being in the right place at the right time. That was cool. I just really hope that wasn't our golden opportunity.
Oh, finally, November 13th. Job's done.
Despite the impending lull, Josh once again came close, but walked out of the woods with his tag in his pocket, feeling a bit heavier. Owen finally saw Picket Fence, but the outcome wasn't what he hoped. The rest of his evening was solid, but the target never stepped back out. My hunt for the Big 8 was similar to the others, slow. Despite this disappointing trend, my gut still tells me that this is the place where I will get him. Eventually the action will be back on the food. The rut is a waiting game now. We can hope for pure luck when a hot doe drags a monster past, or the unlikely event of finding that buck cruising between does. Both can happen, but the sheer rarity of these events can be downright frustrating. We've waited all year for this time, and now we have to go back to waiting, for the lull to end and the deer to once again focus on food. Though the clock is ticking and the lull is beating us down, there is still a half a month left. Often the rut's best days occur after the peak of breeding, after most hunters have cased their bows for the year or are spending their time thinking about Thanksgiving pheasant hunts. Though these mid-month days are slow, we stick it out. Even a bad day now is better than a heat-soaked day in August. After all, we are still chasing November.